Hey trig class, let's look at another example from 8.4. We're doing trig identities. This one has been confusing to some because it looks like it's wanting you to do something with the right side because it's got tangent and secant and then equals and then a minus sign here. So people have been trying to manipulate this right side into two different things being subtracted, and that is not what you're being asked to do here. You're being asked to take tangent, write it in terms of sine and cosine. Take secant and turn it right in terms of sine and cosine. So tangent is sine divided by cosine, and then secant is the reciprocal of cosine, which means it's 1 divided by cosine. So once we get that part, make sure you use. The variable here is u, not theta. Sorry about that. So once you get past that, now you're going to manipulate the sine divided by cosine minus 1 over cosine. So that's going to be sine minus 1, sine u minus 1 over cosine. And then you're multiplying the top and the bottom by this sine u plus 1. Alright, this is something that we do a lot of times when we have addition or subtraction in the numerator. And it creates a squared cosine, like sine squared. And because it's got a sine squared and a 1, that's a Pythagorean identity. So that's a very common thing to do when we have a trig function plus or minus 1 and the numerator is multiplied by that conjugate on the top and bottom. Alright, you can see down here that they already have this denominator, so we're being asked to just do the top. Now these are conjugates. When you multiply conjugates, you get the squared first thing, you get the squared second thing. So sine squared minus 1, but the outside ends cancel. So outside would be positive sign, inside is negative sign, they cancel. So we just get sine squared u minus 1. So it does say simplify, so they are wanting you to multiply that out on that previous step. Alright, sine squared minus 1 is the same thing as negative cosine squared. Alright, keep that in mind. It's 1 minus sine squared is positive cosine squared. This is sine squared minus 1, so this is actually negative cosine squared. So watch your signs. Be careful when you put that in there like that. Alright, and then the previous step, it's out of the screen now, it was the negative cosine squared over top of cosine times sine u plus 1. So one of those cosines down here is going to cancel with 1 up top, and it's going to give me that. Alright, it wants to know what property is that. That's just cancellation. Alright, we got the same thing in the top that we do at the bottom. They're canceling. That's reducing to 1. We lose a cosine, basically. Alright, so that is another identity. So you just got to be careful when you get down here to the bottom, understanding the differences between all those 5 different identities or properties that are the reason why we're allowed to do a step in these types of problems.